Okay, so these days everybody seems to want a magic button or a magic pill that just solves all their fucking problems. They don't want to understand anything, learn anything, or basically do anything at all. And as usual, a person eloquently summarized many points I missed again in the last video I made. Oh boy, I'm loving these community engagement on this little channel. Thanks, guys. And alright, let's get into it. So, did you know that communication skills are actually very important for a doctor? Because let's say you have a patient with a preventable disease, like obesity and type 2 diabetes. You can prescribe this patient aggressive medication, or you can get them to change their lifestyle, and the problem will reverse itself, and the patient will have better longevity. But you see, this requires people to understand a little bit about medical information almost. It will involve them having to learn about things like insulin resistance, fasting, how the body metabolizes fat, maybe even the hormones that are at play. Dr. Jason Fung has a channel where he talks about this a lot. With information like this, a patient can actually begin to take control of their health, reverse their morbid obesity and type 2 diabetes. And information like this isn't really hard to acquire either. It doesn't require a medical degree, and you only need to watch about 40 minutes worth of video or read a 308-page book, which is a book Dr. Jason Fung wrote himself. And I think in an example like this, everybody would agree that investing a little bit amount of time, whether you're a lawyer, labor worker, whatever your profession is, investing a little bit of time to learn these things would be immensely beneficial to your life. If patients actually listened, the healthcare industry would save around $6 billion. That's how much dollars the NHS would save if people listened and actually took efforts to learn about obesity and fix it. You see, using a computer isn't a sexual orientation. There aren't really opinions here. If you ask yourself, what do I use a computer for, you'll realize that all of them basically revolve around manipulating text data in some way, right? Making reports, you can use LaTeX for that. Data analysis, you can use R or Python for that. Personal diary and task management, you can use VimWiki, right? Every use case on a computer is always better with a FOSS solution, unless there's an extremely special use case where you have to use this one special effect in Adobe something. But 99.99% of use cases are better using FOSS solutions. And these minimal tools are also vastly superior to any proprietary solution for all these use cases. And you see, the thing is, most people don't even think this deep. This is what is called ignorance. This is why I always talk about ignorance on my channel. They brand themselves a normie, and then they just do whatever on a computer. Oh yeah, if you ask them, what do you use your computer for? They're just going, oh yeah, whatever, bro, Netflix, whatever, bro. I don't care about anything, bro, whatever. Not caring about things doesn't make you Jenko. It just makes you an NPC. In this day and age, thinking deep about anything is considered nerdy. The corporations want you to be a smooth-brained consumer. And they really have won in that aspect. Being a smooth-brained consumer who doesn't care about anything is very normalized. Work your job as a doctor, lawyer, labor worker, whatever, and then just mindlessly use your salary to consume products. Hand over your human rights and freedoms so you can watch Netflix or whatever. This not caring philosophy is literally destroying societies. Think about it. The person who cares first in a relationship is seen as clingy and weak. People who care about FOSS software are seen as nerds. People who care about privacy are seen as conspiracy theorists who wear tinfoil hats. People who care about health are seen as fat-phobic. We need to accept everybody exactly the way they are. No improvement can be made, and even hinting at it makes you a bigot. That is what we are approaching these days. Mentalities like this allow corporations to make people dependent on their products. This is also how communities are destroyed. Earlier, it's like, hey, let me ask my engineer friend to help me build a system or optimize my workflow or whatever. But now it's like, no, pay more money to a corporation and buy this proprietary software, right? Community's gone. You don't depend on anyone you depend on corporations. You're not independent. You depend on corporations instead. Earlier, people depended on their communities. People knew each other, but all of that is gone now. People who are dependent on others are seen as a loss of profit because that's something a corporation cannot charge you for. We are heading to an age where you will own nothing and corporations will control everything. Think about Spotify and cloud services. People these days literally think downloading music is seen as nerdy and gay. Oh, I'm too lazy to download music. I just want to listen to it, bro. Remember those days when people would actually download their music? Fuck that. Remember those days when people would actually buy records and a song meant something? Like you could own your copy of a song and listening to it had a certain art to it. Nowadays, it's just mindless shit on Spotify. Warner Bros. Can even take away copies of movies you bought these days. This is what we're getting to. People don't even own files on their computers anymore. And owning things is a big deal. And another thing that really gets to me these days is competent people have to persuade incompetent people to become competent, right? And these same competent people already spend so much time writing documentation, making videos, answering forum posts, etc., 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 making things accessible to people. And now it's gone to the point where, don't do anything by yourself. Don't read a manual or whatever. Just hand over your data to us so Windows can set everything up with a click. You see, please wait while we prepare your Windows. Don't fix your obesity-induced blood pressure through lifestyle choices and an understanding of why it happens and what obesity is and whatnot. Just buy this product. You are not supposed to know anything. That's somebody else's job, okay? Buy this product to make yourself look better and take these pills that'll fix your hypertension, blood pressure, whatever issue you have. And on a quick side tangent, everybody who uses Windows suffers. But that suffering has just become normalized and accepted, so nobody really notices it. Okay? Whether you're a doctor, labor worker, lawyer, whatever, you gotta wait for those fucking Windows updates. The GUI keeps changing and you have to adapt to a new workflow every single time, which just makes you more inefficient, alright? People who use Arch don't complain about it. Okay, now I'm gonna have a lot of people in the comments saying, but my Arch distro broke. That's your fault. I don't really know what to say. And not to mention, if you want to do complicated things on Arch, obviously it's going to be harder. If you want to game on Arch or whatever, obviously it's going to break. But for simple use cases, Arch does not break. Okay, Linux does. If anything breaks, it's fucking Ubuntu. If you think Linux breaks, you're probably an Ubuntu user, because that shit really breaks all the fucking time. And again, like I said, this whole attitude of quote-unquote normies is something corporations have been pushing all this time. Any form of independence or dependence on people you know in real life is a loss of profit. A doctor asking his computer science friend to help him set up a system, bad. A doctor depending on a corporation and handing over his data for ease and convenience, good. Alright? This is why channels like Linus Tech Tips, MKBHD, The Tech Lead and all that end up being so promoted and pushed a lot. It's soy devs and normies justifying ignorance. That is the definition of ignorance. Doesn't matter whether you're a doctor, lawyer, or labor worker, ignorance is something that can hit anybody. And I'm not saying this false software thing is about Arch or whatever. It's about freedom. Okay? Building something with your friend, be it minimal Arch setup or a house or a piece of furniture, is seen as gay and nerdy. Right? Asking for help is gay. We must insult people who know how to do things instead, as they're all hipsters who want to do things from the terminal. They just dwell on the terminal and type away on their computer in a dark room. I always get these kind of sly, backhanded insults all the time. You see, this FOSS thing is not about Arch. It's not even about Linux. It's not about telling people what to do or whatever the fuck. It's about freedom. Literally. It's really just the F, okay? It's about human rights, and it extends far beyond computers. It extends to farming, medical equipment, right to repair, and more. And I understand this video is long enough, so I'll make more videos talking about how FOSS really extends everywhere. Because it sounds like many people think I'm just this weird guy on the internet who's telling everybody to boot Arch and who wants to make things difficult for himself so he can flex on other people. That's not really what this is about. This is about principle. This is about owning things. This is about human rights, and this is about freedom. Okay? And I'll make more videos explaining this in depth. But yeah, for now, this is all I got. Thanks for the community engagement, Yuzil, and have a nice day.